My name is Quinlan, and I'm a professional guide and outdoor activity leader based in North Japan. I've been living in Japan for more than 20 years now, 12 of which are here in Iwate Prefecture, right in the middle of North Japan. I'd like to introduce 5 of what I consider to be the best winter hikes you can do up here in Tohoku, North Japan. North Japan really is the last frontier of Japan. It gets less than 2% of all the tourist traffic in Japan and has so many authentic, undiscovered, hidden gems just waiting for you to experience during your trip to Japan. I'm not ranking these 5 best hikes in North Japan, so in no particular order, here they are. Number 1, Mount Moriyoshi. Deep in the heart of North Akita is Mount Moriyoshi. This is in the heartland of the Matagi, the traditional mountain men who famously hunted bears and foraged for hundreds of years over all these mountains. Moriyoshi is one of the 3 most famous places in North Japan to see the Juhyo, the snow monsters, those magical formations of hoarfrost that coat the trees completely in the winters here. To get these snow monsters, you need the perfect combination of temperature, humidity, and wind. And when you do, it's not just snow covering trees like you'd see anywhere, but there's a real specific, almost feathery texture that the Japanese like to call a shrimp tail that you can see. And these really do look like snow monsters, Godzilla even. Anything that your imagination can conjure up, you can project onto these amazing shapes. You can access Mount Moriyoshi from the Ani Ski Resort. You can take a gondola up to the top. Current rates are 2,000 yen for round trip, which is roughly 15 or 16 US dollars. And from there, if you just want to see the snow monsters and walk around casually, you can. There is an area right near the top of the lift, and they even have free snowshoes that you can borrow and just walk around this area. But if you want to get the real experience of hiking up Mount Moriyoshi, then you can hire me or anyone else as a guide, and we can go on a hike anywhere from 2 to 5 hours to get to the summit of Mount Moriyoshi. It's not too trying, but it's a decent workout. And the views are just spectacular. People do this in backcountry skis and in snowshoes. I think if you're not an experienced backcountry skier, then definitely snowshoes are the way to go. I've made a few different videos of this before, and I'll link to all of these in the description if you want to check out my previous trips to Mount Moriyoshi. Number 2, Akita Komagatake. Also, as you might guess from the name, in Akita Prefecture, right next to Iwate, is this glorious Straddle Volcano, which boasts around 5 main summits. During the wintertime, you go near Lake Tazawa, which is the deepest lake in all Japan, and also a really good place to visit different times of year, and you stop at a place called the Alpa Komakusa Onsen, or hot springs there, and you can go up in snowshoes from there to the 8th Station Lodge and then to the summit of the highest of those peaks. This is not dangerous or scary in the sense of there being really steep ledges. However, it is a long and tough hike, and you want to have a decent level of fitness to attempt this, and I would recommend going with a guide, of course. Hint, hint, wink, wink. Akita Komagatake on clear sky days offers just stunning views and is popular among backcountry skiers and snowboarders who like to hike up and go down again and again and again from that top summit. This mountain is also great all times of year, really, but in the wintertime, it really is like entering a pure white wonderland. Check out these views. I've gone here multiple times in the winter, and I just look forward to it every January and February. This one is going to take closer to 6 hours round trip in most cases, and perhaps longer if you're not used to going in snowshoes, and so it's a full day experience, and I definitely recommend hiring a guide. Number 3 is Hakora in Aomori. Now this is another famous series of mountains. It's actually split into 2 areas, northern and southern Hakkoda, of which there are, I believe, 18 peaks in total. The area that I'm recommending for most people to casually visit is the northern area of Hakkoda, which has a ropeway that will take you up to the top. A lot of people will take the ropeway up and then just ski down, but you can snowshoe to a number of the summits from the plateau at the top of the ropeway, those being Akakura, Irodake, and Oodake. These are potentially dangerous if the weather is not good. Hakkoda is famous for winter accidents, and people have died here. In fact, the largest winter mountaineering accident in all of Japan happened here in Hakkoda around 100 years ago, around the time of the Russian-Japanese War, when I believe more than 70 self-defense forces, or rather Japanese military, died there during a training in the winter. But on blue sky days, it is safe and just gorgeous. For snowshoeing, I take people to go up there and guide in any number of different patterns. It's not about going to the top and back. You can just walk along the plateau and visit one or none of the summits, and it's always glorious. Number 4, Hachimantai. Now this is the real hidden gem. Not many people actually do this in the winter, but it's not too challenging or dangerous if you go on a day that has great weather. From the Akita Hachimantai ski resort, you can take just the chairlift up or walk it, and then from there, it's more or less a straight shot up to the plateau summit of Hachimantai, which is covered in glorious snow monsters. Now, Mount Hachimantai doesn't seem like a mountain because it's a shield volcano. So imagine a shield that's then placed flat on the ground. And so it's more of a plateau without a really prominent summit. But it is beautiful, and it's covered in these special fir trees, the Aomori Todomatsu, which get covered in this frost to create snow monsters. And I love going here every winter. It's best in February though, when a local mountaineering association goes and places poles to mark the trail. Because though it's more or less a straight shot, because it's not a mountain, you can get turned around and go the wrong way, and you want to be careful with the weather, and I do recommend hiring a guide. And finally, number 5, Nanataki Ice Falls, or Nanataki Falls. Now this one is the only one that I've mentioned so far that is not weather dependent. The hike to Nanataki Falls is relatively casual. It's only about an hour each way to get there. And every year from January through the end of February, you get this magnificent, huge ice falls that builds up from the Nanataki waterfall. And it's a beautiful walk through the forest. You can go in snowshoes, and sometimes you don't even need snowshoes if you're going during a popular weekend when enough people have been through and tracked down it. But it is really nice to just go out, see the ice falls, hike down around the base of it, and have a picnic there, relax, and then hike back. There's usually all kinds of animal tracks, Japanese hare, foxes, Japanese sero, and it's a beautiful, relaxing walk, can be paired with other activities in Hachimantai, and makes a good half-day activity. I've guided tons of people to the Nanataki Ice Falls, and it's always, always fun. If you're curious right now, I'm in a little valley between Kamakura Mori and Mount Inukura, and my toes are starting to get cold from talking to the camera for so long, so I gotta keep going. I've got a link to my website, gonorth.jp, in the description, and on there you can find some details about how to contact me if you want to hire me as a guide to take you on any number of different outdoor adventures, or to do something more cultural like going through the Kakunodate samurai residence area, Hiraizumi, anywhere really in North Japan. I have studied the culture, the folklore, the history, and in addition to taking you on an outdoor adventure up a volcano any season, I'm also excited to share culture and history of the really fascinating areas all over North Japan. You can of course find my rates as well on the website. Very affordable, weekend. Hey, hey. I also use the house where I live in as an Airbnb because I've got 2 rather nice Japanese tatami mat rooms that are good for guests. And so if you wanted to come and have me take you on an adventure, whether it's in some village or town or up in the mountains or on the coast even, you could pair it with staying in my Airbnb, or of course stay in a hotel somewhere in the Moriyoshi Hachimantai vicinity. Either way works just fine. Everything is really affordable right now in Japan. So come, let me share the places that I love so much up here, whether it's one of these volcanoes, snowy mountains, coastal cliffs, or small towns filled with fascinating history and folklore. North Japan, the last frontier, is waiting for your visit. Okay, my fingers and toes are getting cold. I gotta keep hiking up this mountain and get back down safe before it gets too late. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you on the trails.